tuurlijk.
Good morning, this is Saskia Harkema. This morning I'm speaking to Hans Gaasbeek. He is together with his wife, Simone. They are both human rights lawyers representing the Dutch League for Human Rights. And they have both been involved also intensively with the situation on Lesbos, where the refugee camps are. And I would like to take this opportunity to give Hans a platform to share his experiences from also his perspective as a lawyer. So good morning, Hans. I'm giving you the floor to share your experiences with us.
Okay. Thank you very much, Saskia. Well, about the situation in the Greek islands, I would like to say a few words. Simone and I have observed the trial in 2018 in May, and we have also made a report, of course, about this trial. In this trial, we were shocked about the way that refugees were sentenced. The trial is called the Moria 35. After this trial, the refugees have appealed, and at the moment the appeal case was just beginning, but it's not finished because of Corona. Corona has taken care.
But what was the case they filed? What was their case?
Yeah. Well, the case was that they were accused of having made fires or having demolished goods in the camp because of the fact that they were very stressed and unsatisfied about the situation in the camp. There has been a kind of how can you say demonstrations. They were held in the camp, and they also have led to throwing stones and demolition things. And the trial was first to find out if these refugees had really done something. The proof was very poor. Finally, the refugees were not sentenced for creating fire because there was not any proof at all that they would have created fire. But most people of the group were sentenced to long sentences because of the fact that they were demolishing things. And these were really very big punishments which have to be executed then for the half of the time in Greece. But the trial was very unfair because 35 suspected people, but they had only 3-4 interpreters.
Yeah.
So the case was very chaotic and messy, and there was only one English-speaking. There was only one speaking interpreter. For more than half of the refugees. So it was in fact impossible to normally translate what was said, and the court was also not very interested in what the refugees said, but more in what they wanted to say to the refugees. I could speak long about this trial because it was so unfair and it was so shocking, chaotic, that it was not possible to conclude that somebody was guilty for something.
Yeah.
But finally, then it came out that most of the people were sentenced, and so it gave us a very unsatisfied feeling. But at that time, we also could visit the camps in Lesbos and Chios, and we were very, very shocked about what we saw in the camps and what we heard from the people we met there. And well, there's so many people from Syria and other very traumatized people.
Yeah.
Who are well, they are kind of locked up politically because they cannot move forward, they cannot move backward. They are in a lockdown, which is the new word for the corona. But these refugees know already what is a lockdown.
Yeah.
And well, it started that they were with few hundreds and then with a few thousand, and the Moria camp is fit to keep 3,000 refugees, but they have 19,000.
Yeah,
at the moment.
22. I heard from someone who was recently there. It's shocking.
Yeah, and it is. There has also been a big fire recently, but this. So there are 6 times too many people in the camp, and the camp is very, very well simple. It's really a kind of camping with there's everything is lacking.
Yeah.
The water is difficult to reach. Food is lacking, and in the winter it's very cold there, and then warmth, heating is lacking. And how is it possible that we as Europeans, knowing how you can live very, very well, that we can leave these people years and years in this lockdown situation, and these people are already very traumatized because of the war in Syria. There are not only refugees from Syria, but most of them come from there, and well, they are kind of locked down or locked up in a political game. Well, I will not talk about the political game now, but
how is it for you as a lawyer? Because in fact, what you're saying is that the rule of law is not being applied properly here. So how is that for you as a lawyer? It must be very difficult, I can imagine.
Yeah, because these people in this situation, they have no rights anymore, and even in their trial, they don't even their right to have a good interpreter is violated. But also their right that the trial is looking well if there's any proof against them. So the fair trial has been violated as well, and this is for a lawyer very shocking, I can say, because the trial could be a good way to check very well if somebody's guilty or not.
Yeah.
But beside that, the punishment, they were also very draconic, and well, Draco was a Greek king, I think, but it shouldn't be like that in Greece, which is also since a long time part of the EU, that people get draconic punishments for cases which are not proven.
Yeah.
This shouldn't happen. So actually, it's a kind of the refugees get the one problem on top of the other problem, and it's accumulating problems they have. And on the other hand, there was already people asking attention for the situation. There was this organization. We want to get them here. But they couldn't make much forward. And recently, all the organizations, the big organizations here for the refugees and defense for children, have pleaded to take 500 children into Holland, which but everything is stopped now because of Corona. And somebody else proposed to to put people on a lot of boats, cruisers, where at least they can be taken well care of.
Yeah. So yeah.
And because they have to live abroad for years. No, not abroad. They have to live outside houses, which is very unhealthy.
Yeah.
And now they are, well, if the corona is coming to the camp, it would be terrible.
It would be a disaster. No, yes, it would be a total disaster.
Yeah.
So that's what everybody fears. That, and for all we know, it might already have happened. So that's why Borders or Doctors Without Borders have started a petition to do something about this. But how do you see that? Because I see that also the situation in the Netherlands has changed. Procedures have been stopped. People in an asylum procedure are not allowed to get off the camps. Do you have a perspective on what's going on in the Netherlands? Because nobody speaks about refugees anymore, but we also have many refugees in the Netherlands who are in an asylum procedure.
Yeah, well, in Holland, but and also abroad, you see that well, there's a kind of nationalism coming up. So Holland looks only at Holland's problems, and Greece only to the Greek problem. So there's the solidarity which we have worked on for 75 years after World War II is gone very quick, and well, the refugees are the big victims of this national thinking, and nobody is thinking of them now because they are very, very far abroad, and everybody looking at the national situation, and but also in the national situation, rights run the risk to be violated very much. Well, even if you and I want to have a meeting about this, this big human rights problem, it's forbidden, and we are not. We don't have the right to gather.
No.
If we want to demonstrate, we are not allowed to be demonstrating with more than 2 people.
Yeah.
And, so all these new rules for Corona, they take away very, very quick all our human rights and all our guarantees. But for the people, the homeless people and the refugees in Holland, well, they also come at a later stage, you could say, and only if it's maybe dangerous for other people, like if people are at home are afraid that people who are on the streets, who live on the streets, could be dangerous, then there will be practical solutions maybe to get the people from the streets. But it's not meant to help really the refugees or the homeless in their situation, but more to create safety for the rest of the society.
Yeah, that's true. This is what I heard that yesterday. I don't know if this is true, of course, but I heard that from a political activist that apparently, I know for a fact that asylum procedures have been kind of stopped for now. They are delayed, but people also are being denied to access to a lawyer at this stage. Do you know anything about that?
Well, as a lawyer, I work myself in psychiatrical cases, and also some criminal cases, especially from psychiatric patients. But all our cases are, if they are not postponed, then they are done by telephone.
Yeah.
So this is not good for the communication. This is not good for the contact. This is not thorough enough. As you see in Greece, in the trial I mentioned, when the trial is not done thorough and with good guarantees and with quality, then the rights are violated soon. And, So it's not a very good situation to have trials by phone. But they say, well, these decisions have to be taken quickly. Then it's for psychiatric patients, it's decisions about if they have to stay in hospital longer or not. Yeah, criminal cases are mostly postponed, especially the criminal cases who have not been in court yet, with the detention, prolongation. They have to be continued, of course, but because you cannot keep people illegal without court decision longer in prison, in pre-trial detention. So, but you could say internationally and nationally, we are running the risk to be very, well, I could say, not social, asocial in Holland, like we have been to the South countries like Italy and Greece, because of not wanting them to support enough, because they in the past they had financial problems, especially when you need solidarity between the countries. There should be also international solidarity to solve the refugee problem in Greece, because even if it's 40,000 people on 6 islands, 27 European countries could solve this problem easily. Yeah. That has been shocking me for a long time, that there's not the will to solve the problem of the people on the islands. And this is also very not social or asocial against the people in Greece who live on the islands, because they are also stuck.
Yeah, they're also stuck and a victim in a sense, because they have to solve the problems. Yeah. It's very true what you say. It's solidarity at this moment is really being somehow undermined. Well, not undermined is maybe a very heavy word, but it's shaking on its fundamentals. How do you see? Because some people see the pandemic also as an opportunity for fundamental change. I don't know what do you think? What is your perspective on this? Because some people are starting to say that, okay, finally we can really start reshaping our societies. And
well, that's a very difficult question, I think.
It is.
Because some problems you see that, like for the environment, that it's very good that the cars are driving not so much as before, and then you are also go to thinking, why cannot we do that better without Corona crisis? We can learn from situations, but but as a human rights defender, I'm very afraid that all human rights come under very big pressure because of Corona crisis, and because of, well, the national feelings, because of the practical solutions. You also see it in the newspapers that they try also to do control of people with drones.
Yeah. I read about that with fear. I read it. Yeah.
And the privacy rights were already under pressure in the last years. There were trials like the Syria trial in Holland. The government has always used steps to take away the citizens' privacy and to have better control. And this Syria trial was won by the activists, but now the drones in the Corona go already farther again than was the fact in the Syria trial. So the rights are violated very easily in situations like this.
Yeah, and I think I don't know how you feel about it, but to what extent are we really being informed properly? Because I think many people are not aware of this, that this is an effect of this, for instance, controlling our steps so that we can more easily track how the corona was traveling from one person to the other. But there is a hidden agenda behind this measure.
Well, it's I'm not very good at that question, I think, but you can understand that. Well, it is now very easy, and you can say it's in a general interest that we try to reduce the illnesses as much as possible.
Of course, yeah.
And everybody has to work hard on that.
Yeah.
And well, and it seems like the Dutch citizens are very cooperative.
Yeah.
And very helpful. But it could be abused easily, of course. All these motivated support from the people. Yeah,
well, I don't know how you see what's happening in Hungary. In any case, it really is brought. Yeah, this is at the other extreme, but very, very worrying, of course.
Yeah, there were already a lot of attacks in the last years on the rule of law and on the democracy, and this is a new attack for the people in Hungary.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they are not going to be stopped, and even from all sides, and also from the European Union. There's a lot of protest against the situation in Hungary, but it goes on and on. And also Soros University has been kicked out of Hungary. So it's very disturbing and shocking what's happening there, and it's very close to us, of course.
Yeah. So it's
about information you also asked. But how well are we informed?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not so sure. We don't get all information, and because maybe the information could be that bad that people would get more in panic. That would be possible.
Could be possible, yeah.
And also, of course, things have gone wrong in the beginning of the Corona crisis.
Yeah.
Then in the beginning, everybody could travel, and more and more comes out that there have been very big meetings everywhere, or football games where people have been infected, and this shouldn't have been possible when you turn the film back, of course.
Yeah.
But we don't know enough to draw conclusions.
No. Okay, this is but it's definitely something to watch very closely. And can I summarize that we always have to keep a very close eye on the rule of law, but it's also the message you're sending out that now, in times of crisis, more than ever, we have to keep a very close eye on the rule of law, because this is the moment that also our rights are being taken away from us, partly because you mentioned that the right, for instance, to gather or to protest, we cannot do that now.
No, you are right. I think that for us, it's not, for many of us, it's not very clear how glad we should be and have to be with a democratic society we had, and with rule of law we had. And there has been so much done by people in the past to create this democratic society and to create the state of law and the rule of law. There has been invested so much, and it could be given away so easily in times of crisis. So we have to be very, very aware.
Very vigilant.
To protect this very, very well, because it's one of our strongest points. It's our PowerPoint, you could say.
Yeah.
Because in countries where they don't have these privileged, it's very life is much harder, and people are without rights completely.
Yeah. Yeah, that's okay. Thank you very much, Hans. A very important message. We have to be very vigilant, and we as citizens have to be very vigilant. We cannot just lay back and wait for our institutions to do the correct things. I think this is the message that I'm taking away. And thank you for this interview. And
yes, and with the League for Human Rights and our lawyer office, we will continue the struggle.
Super, fantastic, and we will support it definitely.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.